Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 385, Why I Hate the Phrase, Take It or Leave It. Well, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. It's the last week of May 2026. And I'm sitting in the Magic House Retreat Center in the Sunrise Room, which is probably my favorite room. It's a double room, and there are different shades of like a reddish, orangey, pink in here. And there's a yellow carpet, and there are linen curtains separating the beds, and each bed is like a queen or a full size, and it's so quiet and peaceful and serene. There's plants and a lovely curved wooden mirror and beautiful photography that I took of a sunrise, and it's just absolutely amazing, and I want you all to come experience it. But it's the quiet place in Lisbon for me with the most soft areas to record the podcast without a lot of echoey vibrations. My apartment and the Magic House it's all beautiful hardwood floors and like 12-foot ceilings. So it can be very echoey in here. So I came in here to be quiet and record the podcast. And I'm really, really excited about this topic today. It's the phrase, take it or leave it. And I hear this all the time. And it probably was the phrase that I used when I was attempting to change my relationship with alcohol as well. I just want to take it or leave it. I don't want it to be so attached. I don't want to think about it all the time. But after doing this work for 8 years and coaching thousands of women, it makes me cringe a little. The phrase, take it or leave it, or I just want to take it or leave it about alcohol. I hear this from clients. I see it in my community. Women say it like it's the goal. Like if they could just get out of that place, they'd be free. And I totally understand why it's appealing. And it's so commonly used. I really understand. But to be honest, it really bothers me. First of all, it just doesn't make sense like in my head. And it's not a goal that I would ever set with a client. And today I'm going to tell you exactly why. So I'm going to first talk about what I think women actually mean when they say this. They mean that they want ease. They want freedom. They want alcohol to stop being such a big deal. They want to stop thinking about it at 5 o'clock, stop negotiating with themselves. They want to follow through, right? They want to wake up in the morning without regret. And, if they say no, they just want to feel ease around that. And they just want to not want it so much, right? And that desire is totally valid. And that exhaustion that you have around it is totally understandable and it's real. I totally get it. I have been there. But here's where it just doesn't line up for me. When I hear take it or leave it, what I picture is somebody standing in the moment at a party, at a dinner, at the end of a day, and they're just sort of checking in with themselves. Do I want this or not? Do I feel like it or not? Take it? Don't feel like it? Leave it. And this is not a strategy. This is the opposite of a strategy, right? Because you're relying on how you feel in the moment to say, I'll take it or leave it. Okay? And so for women who overdrink, making the decision in the moment is exactly where everything goes wrong, right? This is exactly why we're here in the first place. Okay, that's the pattern is making these decisions based on how you feel, right? Like using your primitive brain in the moment to decide whether you're drinking or not. And we know this by now, right? Especially if you've been listening to this podcast for a while. Making same day decisions or in the moment decisions with alcohol is why we are here. That's when we become emotionally attached to alcohol. That's when we feel bored and we're like, ooh, I need something to do. It's I have this big spacious day on the weekend and I'm just going to have some glass of wine, right? I'm just sitting around feeling bored, I'm going to have wine. And when you do that in any of those types of situations, whether it's stressed after work or you're lonely after work or you're exhausted after work, or maybe you don't drink during the week, but you drink a lot on the weekends because you just want to shut your mind off. Like, all of that is emotional decisions, right? And to get to a take it or leave it idea, if we were going to actually, if I was, agreeing that that's a good strategy, you have to get to a place where you're not responding emotionally to alcohol. So building this goal to get to this take it or leave it is building the goal around in the moment decisions. And that's just more with like a relaxed attitude. It just doesn't solve anything. It just puts sort of like this glamorous story or this sort of ideal around the same situation that we're already in. So the other thing that really bothers me about it, and I'm not picking on anybody in particular, I promise. Everybody's like lately, like, I feel like you were talking to me in this podcast episode. This is actually a topic that I have been thinking about for a really long time. But this whole idea of take it or leave it, to me, it sounds like you're not addressing the reasons why you're drinking in the first place. So the goal, if your goal is just to feel casual about alcohol, you never really ask yourself the harder questions, is, exactly like, what is underneath the drinking? Why am I drinking in the first place? What has alcohol been doing for you all of these years, right? Alcohol is a tool that you are using. You've been numbing something. You've been using to escape. You're using to avoid. You're using it to amplify. Maybe it's the only thing that you have at the end of the day, where you give everything of yourself to everybody else, right? So maybe it's been something you've used to deal with grief or stress or change. Maybe it's an old pain, an old trauma that you've never gone back and really looked at. Maybe it's resentment. Maybe it's just that you never learned another way to decompress, and this one worked, right? Until it doesn't, which is where a lot of people are when they're listening to this podcast. So take it or leave it, this idea of this end goal doesn't really ask any of those questions. It just hopes the grip, it just like helps you loosen the grip on it, right? If that's the end goal. And like, to get to that looser grip, to that freedom, we have to be willing to do the work. And so that's not where I want you guys to focus on. And I don't want you to walk away from this feeling defeated or like you're doing something wrong, or if you say you just want to take it or leave it, you're going to get in trouble. I just think that language matters. And when we say things like that, we really need to understand what that means. Okay, so the feeling you're reaching for, that ease, that neutrality, it's just not a big deal anymore, that's real. Okay, it exists. I've experienced it. Coach Steph experiences it. A lot of my clients do. But it's not something that you aim at directly. It's not something where you're like, that's where I want to, it's like, that's not the goal. The goal should be figuring out why you're using alcohol in the first place, so that you can have any relationship with you that you want with alcohol. So you get honest about why you've been drinking. You actually go there, the emotions, the boundaries, maybe how you haven't been taking good care of yourself, how you've been at the bottom of the list, maybe some things you've been avoiding in relationships or at work, right? The feelings that you've been outsourcing to a glass of wine for years. I love that line. The feelings you've been outsourcing to a glass of wine for years. This covers all the feelings. The good ones, it's sunny outside. I loved going outside. Weather changes. It's warm outside. Go outside and sit and have a glass of rosé, right? That is me outsourcing fun and ease and celebration to a glass of wine. I don't need that anymore. That's freedom, right? I can go sit outside and enjoy the summer warm sunny air and like have water or a Diet Coke or a lemonade. You don't need the alcohol to make that a special time. So when you go there and you work on all those things I just mentioned, while you're doing that, you're practicing making decisions about alcohol ahead of time, not in the moment, not in take it or leave it situations. You make a plan, you honor the plan, not perfectly, but repeatedly, right? Like, of course, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to rely on your emotions in the moment and all of that, because it's not a well-practiced thing yet. But every time you do honor your own intention, alcohol loses a little bit of that, that dopamine hit, that charge, right? So slowly, quietly, it starts to matter less, and it starts to go in the background a little bit more. And one day you're going to notice that you're at dinner and alcohol just isn't a big thing. You're not like automatically thinking about it right away when you sit down. You'll notice that you start looking at the menu and you start connecting with your friends or whoever you're with, right? You're just thinking about other things. And all of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just sat down at dinner and like I wasn't just like so amped to look at the wine list and get the waiter over to take my order. And you celebrate that, right? That's what we're aiming for here. But you can't get there until you are intentional. No same day decisions, no take it or leave it, right? You're figuring out why you're drinking. You're doing your evaluations if you slip up and make a mistake. You're thinking about what you want with alcohol, whether you're drinking or not, ahead of time, when you're not in those moments where you need to make a decision, like in real time, like at the end of the day, if your husband or your wife is asking you if you want a glass of wine, or when you're going out to eat or you're traveling or whatever, right? Thinking about when you actually need to make that decision and say yes or no. You don't want to make your decisions around alcohol in those times. You want to make them ahead of time. So every week you want to make a drink plan. So if you're in a live AF, that's what you should be doing. Okay. And it needs to be on paper, not in your head. So you're having a plan, you followed it. And when that becomes easier and you're noticing it's taking up space and you understand why you're drinking and you get good at feeling your feelings and you're taking good care of yourself and you're slowing down, you're saying no to things more. That's like not a shortcut, right? That's the actual work that it takes to change your relationship with alcohol. We have to figure out why you're using it. It's been a tool that's been helpful for you, right? And now it's gotten to a point where it's not helpful anymore. It's causing more problems than it does good. And we need to unravel that and do the deeper work. It just doesn't, like, you can't change permanently. You know, a lot of people are very good at executing a plan or like following rules and things like that. And then once that goes away, then they're just right back from the very beginning because they haven't changed. They haven't addressed their life. They haven't addressed what is happening on the internal stuff for them. And if you want it to be permanent and you want to actually feel freedom, then that's what is required, unfortunately. And actually, it's not unfortunately. I take that back. It's fortunately. When you do that deeper work, you get to know yourself better. It's actually a fascinating process. You get to see yourself and how you respond to certain things and why you do, this way or that way, and what is good for you and what is not good for you. And you start making decisions on things in your life that support you feeling good all the time. And then you feel good in your life more often, and you get used to being with your feelings and taking care of yourself. And then alcohol, it just it's just not important. It really does lose its hold on you because you're addressing your needs. And that's a good thing. It feels good. It's pleasurable to take care of yourself. If you haven't listened to that podcast episode with Dina, where she came to the Magic House a few weeks ago, highly recommend it. We think that taking care of ourselves is just another task. It's not. It actually feels good to do those things. And when you're feeling good, you don't need substances to make yourself feel better. You just don't. You feel good in your life. Okay. So if you've been walking around with this whole, I just want to take it or leave it as your goal, I want you to swap it out. The goal is to understand yourself. The goal is to honor your own intentions. The goal is to do the work underneath so that alcohol stops being necessary. That's what gets you to the ease that you're looking for. Take or leave it is not the plan. It's not even a real goal. It's a wish. Okay, and you deserve way more than that. You deserve a real path, a real strategy going forward. Okay, my friends, I believe in you. And of course, there's no judgment. There's no judgment if you've shared with me you just want to take it or leave it. It's fine, but let's get more specific. Okay, let's really understand why we're drinking in the first place, take good care of ourselves, and then you'll get to that freedom that you want. And I think that's really what you all are after, is just freedom, right? Not thinking about it, not having it occupying your brain so much. You're intentional, you follow through on your plans. That's the language that we want to use. All right? Sending you so much love. I'm going to put the link to the Magic House in the show notes. We have 2 spots left for April 2027, 2 private rooms left. So we definitely should come. Magical, magical transformations happen here. All right, my friends. Talk to y'all soon. Bye for now.
me puliera.